Held far from Sabaody by Kuma's strange power, Luffy finds himself on an unfamiliar island. After an unfortunate run-in with some poisonous mushrooms, he falls unconscious. Gravely ill, he is approached by a team of female warriors who could be friend or foe.
On the next One Piece, landing the all-female island Amazon Lily. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
Captured by the women of Amazon Lily, Luffy tries to escape in hopes of reuniting with his friends. However, the Snake Princess is returning to the island, and as she learns a man has been brought to the village, both Luffy and the women who rescued him could pay the ultimate price.
On the next One Piece, hurry back to your friends! The Maiden Island Adventure! I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
Navy Vice Admiral Momonga contacts the Kuja pirates with an official summons for Boa Hancock. However, despite being one of the warlords of the sea, Hancock refuses the Navy's request and unleashes her devil fruit power on the unsuspecting Marines.
On the next One Piece, everyone falls in love! Pirate Empress Hancock! I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
Luffy storms the Kuja village in hopes of acquiring a boat, but accidentally lands in a bath where Empress Hancock is bathing. As he peers through the steam rising from its waters, he sees a forbidden secret etched upon her back.
On the next One Piece, the secret hidden on the backs. Luffy and the Snake Princess meet. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
Luffy is captured once more after seeing the Snake Princess's secret. Margaret and her friends try to defend him, but Hancock is unmoved and turns them all to stone. Luffy's angry to see the Empress petrify her own comrades, but is powerless to help as he faces his own execution.
On the next One Piece, Heartless Judgment. Margaret is turned to stone. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
When Empress Hancock orders her sisters to execute Luffy, they transform into fearsome serpents and begin a deadly assault. Luffy fights for his life, but soon discovers that the two women have a mysterious ability that allows them to slither through all of his attacks unharmed.
On the next One Piece, a difficult fight for Luffy, the Snake Sisters' hockey power. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
When Luffy activates second gear, the sisters respond by unleashing their true snake powers. Sandasonia transforms her hair into ferocious serpents. And Marigold envelops her body in flame as they launch an even more violent assault in the arena of battle.
On the next One Piece, all-out special power battle, Gun versus Snake. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
After Luffy protects the secret of the Snake Sisters, they decide to spare his life. Hancock reveals the story behind the familiar mark on their backs. The tale of her childhood is one of tragedy, suffered at the hands of a corrupt group that Luffy knows all too well.
On the next One Piece, Hancock's confession, the sisters' abhorrent past. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
When the Kuja pirates hold a banquet, Luffy is the center of attention. Margaret rescues him from a sea of admirers and takes him to Granny Neon. She reveals troubling news about his brother Ace, and Luffy is forced to make a decision that will change the course of his destiny.
On the next One Piece, saving Ace. The next stop, the Great Prison. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
As Luffy prepares to depart Amazon Lily, Hancock suddenly falls ill. According to Granny Neon, Hancock is not the first empress to fall to this ailment, and others have lost their lives. What could have brought it on? And is there a cure?
On the next One Piece, love is a hurricane. Love, Hancock. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
Sent flying across the world by Kuma, the Straw Hats awaken in strange new places. Nami meets a peculiar old man on a secluded island where a unique science is studied. And Frankie finds himself in a frozen land with no cola in sight.
On the next One Piece, the friends' whereabouts, the science of weather and the mechanical island. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
Chopper awakens on a faraway island only to be attacked by giant birds and natives hungry for a reindeer dinner. Meanwhile, Sanji finds himself in a peach-colored paradise. The inhabitants seem harmless enough, but is Sanji walking into a trap?
On the next One Piece, the friends' whereabouts, an island of giant birds and a pink paradise. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
Ramen finds herself in a faraway land with inhabitants that have been forced to work for 700 years, day and night. She must either help them or become enslaved herself. Meanwhile, Usopp awakens in a land full of mysterious and deadly plant life.
On the next One Piece, the friends' whereabouts, bridging the islands and vicious vegetation. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
Zoro arrives at an old castle inhabited by Piranha. Although he is eager to return to his crew, Piranha seems strangely intent on keeping him there. Meanwhile, Brook is mistaken for Satan when a group of cultists believe they've summoned the Dark Lord.
On the next One Piece, the friends' whereabouts, a negative princess and the king of demons. I'm gonna be king of the pirates! Subscribe, you guys! Join our crew